Hello and welcome to the video. Today we're going to talk about how to design your living room layout. And with that, I have two simple ways in which you can do that, focusing on symmetry and of course the mirror effect. And if you watch until the end, I have a little bonus for you as well. My name is Tia from Tia Karen Interiors, so let's get straight into today's video. So what do I have here? Here I have for us a little example, a little snippet, a little picture from the movie It's Complicated. And if you know anything about Nancy Meyer Interiors, they are the best, most harmonious if you've seen The Holiday or if it's complicated. She's really good at this. So anyway, I just wanted to show you some inspo as to how I got thinking about creating this video for you guys. So how do you create your living room layout? These are the principles that I have for you. The first thing I want you to think about is look at your room and then have a line divider. Have a line go straight the middle. So you're either having it horizontal or vertical, but have a line go through the middle of your living room. And that will be your anchor point. So this is how we're going to create the symmetry between the left and the right. And what I have here is a little example that I created for you to show you how to actually create that mirror effect. And that really helps you create a very harmonious living room that feels really, really good, right? So let's get into what we're seeing. So as you can see here, the first rule is once you have that line, you're going to create something on the left side that you're going to mirror on the right side, right? The video might be flipped, so my left might be your right and my right might be your left. But let's look at this image. So once you have that line, you then group some items. For example, here we have the table, we have the sofa, and we have the bookshelf, right? And that's our group on one side. And then we have created our line straight in the middle, and then we just flip that over and create the same arrangement on this side. There is a table at the end of this sofa as well. You just can't see it because, well, my face is in front of that table. But yes, so that's one way in which you can lay out your living room for it to look really symmetrical, harmonious, luxurious, and just mwah, right? And if you haven't seen the video that I created, which is technically part one of this series, you should go back and check that out. But if you have seen it, then you will recognize this pattern continuation, because we have two ottomans here instead of one. And if you watch part one of this little series, you understand what that actually does to your living room. Now let's jump straight into the second example, right, is of course when you have that line that I created before, the mirror effect works in two ways, in the sense that you can repeat exactly the same thing on the other side. But I know that not everybody feels the idea of having two identical sofas. And if you want some little range, you can have one sofa on one side, like you can see in this picture, and then you can have like two armchairs on the other side. But of course, just make sure that the space that the armchairs are taking are equivalent to the length of the sofa. And the reason why is because I want you to have this concept in your mind of the square, the rectangle, or a circle, right? So if you're going for a rectangle, then make sure the edges of the sofa are also the edges of your armchairs in terms of the space between them. And we're sticking with those simple shapes of squares, rectangles, and circles, because it's what actually creates symmetry. Of course, there are other shapes as well, like the triangle, but I suggest leaving the triangle for the kitchen, right? So as we can see in this picture, the armchairs here mirror perfectly the sofa, and the other elements remain, like little grouping of the bookshelf remains. So you still have that exact mirroring effect, just with two different sofas. Now I can already hear what some of you are saying. You're like, well, maybe my living room is multifunctional. I actually use my living room for more than just sitting around and lounging in. Maybe I have a TV and I use it as a multi-purpose room. Well, if that's you, then there's nothing to worry about, because you can use the same concept when it also comes to having a TV stand or having like a credenza or anything like that, right? I want you to keep that line still in the middle. So let's envision here that we have our line going through the middle of this room. What I want you to know now is our step 2 way, which is visual symmetry. A visual weight symmetry, I should say. So because we have a big chunky sofa on this side, I want you to take that same visual weight, right, and place it on the other side. Even if the other side is not having a sofa, but you want something with the same kind of weight on the other side. Imagine a seesaw, right? If someone is sitting on this end and that end and they're the same weight, then it creates balance and harmony, right? But if like one side is heavier than the other, then it's kind of asymmetrical and it's not right. Here in this video, we're trying to create balance and symmetry. So we want whatever visual weight we have on this side to match the visual weight on the other side, but we're remaining with the same concept of the mirror. The mirror is of course the line in the middle. So just making sure that those of course are balanced. And then of course we've talked about furniture and everything else, but there's also another way in which you can do that. You can also use art. Like you can see this room, we might have this big sofa right here, but of course it is balanced with the pieces of art. So one side and the other side, there's like a complete mirroring effect right there. And that helps you create living rooms that feel really good and really symmetrical and very harmonious. And that is what our brain loves. So in terms of like psychology, and that is the little bonus I had for you, I mentioned at the beginning, is that, well, a room that is symmetrical actually is really easy for the brain to understand. So you walk into this room because the left and the right are balanced. Like you imagine, you think of the left and right side of your brain, right? When there's that balance, it is really easy for the brain to understand the space. And if it's really easy for the brain to understand the space, then you feel more at ease, and then you feel more harmonious, right? And of course, harmony is the ultimate luxury. So I hope that gives you some tips in creating and laying out your living rooms. And with that, I shall see you in my next video, my darlings.